Hey, welcome to After the Whistle. I'm Mike Pereira, the head of officiating for the USFL. And as usual, we're going to look at some controversial plays, some crazy plays, and I think we'll even look at a botched play. I think it involves me. But let me first say that I'm really proud of the fact that the NFL brought in 10 new officials this week. 10 new officials, and 8 of them are coming out of our USFL officiating program. Speaks volumes to our officiating in the USFL, and couldn't make me more proud to see these people move up. And that's not going to be the end, by the way. I expect in future years that more officials that are currently working with us in the USFL will end up in the NFL. So it's a banner day for USFL officiating. But let's move on to a couple of plays. And the first play involves Anthony Ratliff-Williams on a touchdown. How about this? Trey Boger, who's the back judge on this crew, is the one that had to deal with this play. You don't usually see this, but it's a pass over the middle, deep pass. And the first question is it an incomplete pass? Is it a catch and a fumble? It's pretty close. So decision number one that Trey Boger had to make was, in his mind, it was a catch. And I agree. So it makes it catch and fumble. And then he recovers his own fumble. He gets the perfect bounce, and he advances into the end zone for a touchdown. Boger all over this play. But it brought up discussion really on social media. Well, you can't recover your own fumble. And what about that? Well, yes, you can. If you are the fumbling player, you can recover your own fumble and advance it into the end zone for a touchdown. And the fumble rule really only applies inside of 2 minutes. So had this play happened inside of 2 minutes, and it would have been a teammate of Ratliff-Williams that recovered the ball, then it would have gone back to the spot of the fumble. But in this case, Boger officiated it perfectly. It was a catch, it was a fumble, it was recovered, it was carried into the end zone. Not your normal type of touchdown that you will see, but maybe that's why people like Trey Boger are headed into the NFL for the 2022 season. Hey, let's move on. And we might as well talk about another Trey. Trey Alston is going to down a punt at the 1 yard line, or did he? On the field, the official covering the play ruled that he downed the ball inside the 1 yard line. Another official who was on the sideline at the goal line ruled that Alston's shoulder actually hit the goal line, and therefore it was a touchback, because in the NFL, it's not the position of the ball, it's the position of the body. And if any part of the body ends up touching the goal line, then it becomes a touchback. But then they went with the ruling of it as a touchback. And we looked at it in the replay center and looked at it, and we got a shot from the high end zone from behind that showed that the shoulder did not touch the goal line. So we reversed it to a punt being down inside the 1 yard line. And I thought all was fine until maybe I looked at it a little closer. And when you look at it a little closer, it looks like Alston's hair, his hair may touch the goal line, his hair. And that brings up the question, does the hair put you down? Does the hair count as a body part? We know that the towel doesn't, but the hair does. So if the hair actually touched the goal line and it's really close, but I think it does, then that actually would make this a touchback. That's how complex the rules can get. A body part is the hair. Makes sense, because if you land on your head, the head is certainly a body part. And if it's actually your own hair, then that's considered a body part too. So maybe I should have left it as a touchback. But going forward now, I'll be reminded that anything close to the goal line or anything close to the sideline, when it comes to a runner being in or out of bounds, I got to look at the hair too. Maybe everybody should keep their hair underneath their helmet. I don't know. But this is one that I would have liked to do over on. Hey, our last play on After the Whistle, we're going to look at one rule that people really don't like. But it actually involves another official that's going into the NFL. The first one we talked about in an earlier play was Trey Boger. This one is Robin DiLorenzo. She gets the tough play at the goal line. You've got Rashard Davis of the Tampa Bay Bandits, who's headed toward the pylon and the goal line. And he dives, and guess what happens? The ball comes loose before he can get to the pylon or break the plane. Robin's got a tough call to make. She's looking at the feet to see if he may have stepped out of bounds before the ball got loose. It didn't. The feet, no foot did touch out of bounds. So she ruled a touchdown. But it's not a touchdown. The ball's loose. Had he had control of the ball and then touched the pylon, then it would have been a touchdown. But in this case, it's actually a forward fumble into the end zone and out of bounds in the end zone because the pylon is considered out of bounds in the end zone. So step in, instant replay center. Yep, that was me. We got involved in this play. We looked at the same thing that Robin looked at first. Was the foot down out of bounds? And it wasn't. Then we could clearly see that the ball was loose before it broke the plane or got to the pylon, and when it hit the pylon, we made it a touchback. People scream about this rule because if this ball would have gone out at the half-yard line, then it would have gone back to the offense and they would have kept the ball at the spot of the fumble. But since it went into the end zone, including the pylon in that, then they lose possession of the ball and it becomes a touchback. Every year, it gets discussed at the NFL competition committee meetings, and every year it doesn't change. And I think it's correct in not changing that because to me, fumbling the ball forward and out of bounds is not as severe. Fumbling the ball forward into your opponent's end zone. So the rule stands as called. This ball was loose. It hit the pylon. It becomes a touchback, and the replay center got what it needed to get. So we'll see you next week. We'll have more plays like this, and I love talking about these on After the Whistle. See you after week 4.
Hey, it's Shea Patterson. Thanks for watching this USFL video. For the best USFL fan experience, subscribe below and gain access to the best football content on planet Earth.